Alright, we're on break. I'm still recording, but I'll cut it out.
I will cover the
Alright.
topic of North Korea. I've got a good speech to lay down to King
Go
Kim
for it.
Jong
I,
Un.
I,
We'll take a
I
5 minute
didn't really
break.
want
I'll
to
be
take a
right
break
back.
because I have like 25 minutes of free time, but I can push back my Xbox play time.
That'd be grand.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do. We'll get this show to 2 hours, I think.
Yeah, we'll do the 2 hours. Alright, I'll see you guys in a minute.
Same here.
If I delve into the racism of the North Korea, then just stop me.
I'll
No,
be
it's
right back.
fine.
Gonna get that
I'll
far.
You know we record for like 6 hours normally, and I just cut it down to 1.
We record for that long? Fucking
No,
hell.
I'm joking. I'll see you guys later.
Hmm.
I'm back. Oh no, I didn't even mute my mic.
No, you didn't. You know what we should do one day as like a podcast? We should have like, you know what they do is like quiz shows. We should have like, say, like when we do, if
yeah.
we do the first ever flip the table, we have
I love that.
Tipacanoe and his crew, and then we got us lot.
And then we have a
And,
quiz
and
master.
we have like a quiz show.
Oh, that sounds good. I like that.
That'll be epic.
That's season 2 of the game show.
We'll
Actually,
have to get someone to ask a question.
I got an idea. You know, after the season finale where we do all that crap with the table and stuff, the
Yeah.
episode after should be flip the table, and then the episode after that we'll just do episode 1 in the next season.
We'll have a special each season.
Yeah. No,
So,
that's
so this season special will be flip the table,
next season will be TGS table.
TGS table. I think everyone will hate on us. Oh, TGS faggots. It'll be like the game show. Oh yeah, I guess I see what you mean there, but you can't do that because of the game station. 'Cause it would
No,
be TGS.
I meant the second special would be with the TGS podcast.
Wow. But yeah, do you like that idea, Tanner?
Sorry, I was away. What?
We have it. We do like a sort of quiz show. We have the quiz master, and then we have the team of guests, and then like our team.
We should
like
get a
the one
handicap
tempted.
though, because Tanner drops all the time. So we should have a substitute.
Hey, I was just connected for an hour and 45 minutes straight.
And then you
Ooh.
dropped. Wait, the
Yeah.
call's been going for 1 hour and 30 minutes.
You dumbass.
Oh, whatever.
Prick.
I should just go back to playing Fallout.
Is that what you've been doing this entire time?
No, I stopped as soon as we started. Thank you.
Oh,
Oh.
I thought of a title for this
Not like
episode.
last week where you were just playing Mount and Blade.
You're right. I was. Oh, I don't have anything up today. Would you like me to put something up? I could put FM on.
I was playing that earlier in the
What don't we
network
have
game,
up?
and Liverpool were like bottom of the table.
Yeah, Japhead told me. What was you?
I'm back, but I need to send a message out on Xbox Live
It's fine.
to delay my clan meeting.
We've got about a minute to wait before I officially end the break. Anyway.
Can I intro off the break?
Yeah, okay, sure. I got...
Because I have
title
something,
planned.
I have something to say.
What was Japet going on about with the YGS thing?
Oh, I don't know. He asked if anybody watched YGS. I have no clue what that is.
See, that's another thing you Europeans talk about where I don't know what it is.
Oh yeah, I have no clue what it is.
Tanner, now you know how I feel anytime the topic of soccer or football comes out.
You and now.
I take a step back.
Tanner knows soccer though, and he's American, so no excuse.
I'll play the excuse that I don't watch sports, even
Fair
American
enough.
sports. I know I'm not a fan of. However, I am enjoying the Big Four. or the Final Four, whatever you want to fucking call it.
What about the Grand National? Did they show that over in America?
No. What did Juppet say? WGY?
YGS.
Why?
You got shit.
You got stoned.
Oh, it's by Jack's Films.
Alright.
What does he do? What is YGS? Oh, it's where he like finds grammar people on YouTube like that have bad grammar,
The show's
and then
coming
he like
back in 3, 2, 1, go.
Can't. I'm in a party right now. I gotta talk to somebody. You're SOL right now.
All right, so the YGS thing, he goes and he finds like he has people submit grammar stuff to him, and then he like
Shows
says
how
them
bad
like as if they were saying it. So I don't
Oh.
know. My girlfriend's made me watch like 20 of them in the last 2 days. I should have known what they were.
That's
What
gonna be a
about-
pain to edit.
Yeah, but Paddy, have you heard of someone called Ashens?
No.
He's shit. He does like these shitty Poundland reviews.
Shitty what reviews?
Poundland reviews.
Alright. Poundland. Wait, so we're not back. What did Tipacanoe say when I...
He said he had to go talk to someone in a party.
Yeah,
how
he's
long?
not back from the party yet.
He
Oh.
said he'd be back in a second.
Okay. So, the show's not... This is going to be a pain to edit. I was hoping if we did it at the hour mark, which I did, it'd be
So
easy
we've
to...
done new releases, right? I'll do my little speech on North Korea.
Yeah, we've got... There's another topic we were going to talk about as well, but I was going to add it in there, but I forgot about it. Sure, it's something
What
else
was
we
it?
could-
Throw it in there.
What?
Throw it in there.
No,
We
I,
can't-
don't- I,
I'm
I
good to
can't
go.
remember it. I can't remember it.
Well, if it comes up, just bring it up. I am ready.
Oh, you're
I'll
ready?
do my speech on North Korea.
Alright, we'll just do North Korea first then, I guess. I'm trying to think. It was some... Oh, Ubisoft. Ubisoft, I remember that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but that's still just say they got hacked by hackers from Russia and they released
Far Cry
Far Cry
DLC.
3,
Well,
Far Cry 3
it's a
Blood
standalone.
Dragon.
Oh, yeah, I remember. I was thinking of a title for this episode. What about downloadable crap?
Downloadable crap.
DLC!
Alright, Putty, we good?
Yeah, okay. We'll start back at the 1 hour, 2 minute mark, so 15 seconds. So it's easier for me to edit. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
We're back from our break. And the next topic we have on the agenda is North Korea.
I thought
And
Tepa was gonna do the intro.
Oh, I thought you
Can
were
I,
going to
can
go
I,
with
can I
the
say
show.
something real quick, Dino?
You
Yeah,
go
go
for it.
No. Dino, I wanted to say something to all the hosts here. Typically, when a guest takes a 10-minute topic and turns it into a 45-minute segment on the show, he would get scolded. In this case, with the hosts, I got praised. Kind of confused on that, but gonna you'll let that slide.
Something a lot
It
of
was
people...
it was a good debate. I enjoyed
Typically
it.
on another
Some
podcast.
people, what a lot of people need to realize with me is I'm the type of YouTube viewer who watches the 3-hour stuff, the 4-hour stuff, and I enjoy it more than the 10-minute stuff. So that's how the way I run my stuff. Do you know North Korea?
So North Korea. Okay, Kim Jong Un,
Alright.
hear me
I
out.
may have some connection problems.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, Dino's gonna do a speech.
I'll
Alright,
talk
so...
about
I'm
North Korea.
listening.
Okay, Kim Jong Un, hear me out. How the fuck do you think you can take out North America? Like, you think you can take on the Americans? Like, oh, look at me with my massive nuclear arsenal. No, fuck off. You can't do it.
He does have nukes that can reach us, though.
Yeah, but he has nukes that like reach Alaska. That's it. And he's like, oh yeah, look at me
I like-
with my nukes and my pimps and my bitches.
I like how Dino has.
I'm just insulting Kim Jong Un, but hear me out, Kim Jong Un.
I like how
If you-
Dino has 0 cards on the table in this battle. He's.
I'll put my first one down. Yeah, Kim Jong Un, hear me out. If you think you can take on America, you
Alright.
have as much chance of taking on America as I have being the president of North Korea.
Nobody
Like,
can
you
take
have no-
on. Nobody can take on America. I mean, you gotta start with Brazil, and then you gotta go inland, and never want to take on the whole continent of America.
Like, if you think nuking America is the smartest thing ever, then just like go and hide somewhere because you're gonna get fucked incredibly hard.
So, alright, let me chime in on this. Not only were we winning the Korean War before it ended, okay? They didn't stand a chance then. They've been sitting there doing nothing, just kind of looking at their old equipment and old technology and old tanks, and we've been striving for the future of weapons and engineering, you got to figure we are on a completely different field of technology. Back then, the war was close and the war was tight. Now, we're going to just destroy them. You know, we have planes that can fly themselves over your embassy. We don't need to do what we used to do and send waves of people at you. We can take you out with a precision missile, right? That's the whole thing on this.
Can I point your attention?
The reason that the Korean War ended was because China was backing North Korea.
To be fair, the
China was
Korean
backing
War
North Korea, which
never
is
ended.
why...
Typically,
No,
some connection problems.
Pause. Am I?
Yeah, you're
where am
back
I
now, but
cutting
you cut
at?
out a little bit. Which is
All
when I
right.
started
My
saying something.
point being is if we got into a fight like we did last time with them, our technology and capabilities would completely overshadow them. And what they're failing to understand is not only were we winning before the Korean War got put on pause, the only reason that we decided to declare the ceasefire at the parallel, I think it's the 42nd, at the parallel was because China was getting involved in backing North Korea, and we didn't want to start World War III, so we decided let's just pause this whole thing, and that is what's been going on. But the problem is, America has deemed the Korean War the forgotten war, right? America doesn't even rarely think of North Korea. It's only recent news that North Korea was even a war. And North Korea has just been sitting there pissed off that they didn't beat us in the first place. So you have two separate worlds. You have North Korea, who still thinks that we're the devil, and then you have us, where we don't even really care about North Korea in any way, shape, or form. That is my chime in on that.
Can I point your attention to the Twitter account Kim Jong Number Un?
Wow.
You should definitely type that in because it is absolutely hilarious.
Sure.
Yeah, you should do that now and give me a reaction.
Kim Jong
Number Un.
Kim.
Did I come through on that, by the way?
You came through on most of it. You cut out for a teensy bit. You were fine though. You should be fine.
All right. I had to turn on my Xbox to send a message to my clan to delay the meeting and whatnot because I didn't realize the podcast was going to be this long, and it has completely messed up the connection with my computer.
In that case, by the way, guys who are listening to this podcast, clan is spelled with a K.
Of course.
That was supposed to be subtle, Dino. Damn you.
Thank you for that.
I don't want to declare war, but everybody says it's good for my brand.
All right, so what direction are we heading in here, guys?
Well, for the podcast, I think.
Yeah, what are we talking about?
Since you're on a roll for ranting, I think we'll move on to your story. How about that?
All right, so my story is something kind of small, but I'm gonna stretch it out into something a little bit longer here. I want to kind of talk about how just genuinely fragile life is, right? And the way I'm going to go about talking this is with a massive analogy. But this analogy is something that actually happened in my life.
What are you going to talk? I didn't hear that word. So it started with an F.
You said analogy.
No, not analogy. You're going to talk about the general idea of what?
How life is fragile.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go on.
Okay. So my little brother, right, at my dad's house, got a kind of a net-type cage thing and got these butterfly seeds, all right? And over a course of like 3 or 4 months, he made and grew. He didn't make them, but he grew the butterflies, right? Until the butterflies were big enough that we were supposed to release them. So we go out back, and of course at this point I'm with my grandma, and we open up the zip thing, and they're just kind of chilling in there. They have no idea what they're doing. They've never seen grass before, right? So the first one just kind of dies. Like, he just kind of flies off and broke a wing or something, and he dies, right? The second, there was 4 of them. The second one, I think he never left the cage, right? The third one flew away to like a flower or something, and the fourth one, I think he just kind of flew away as well. And then we wanted to make the second one get out of the cage. We were like flipping it upside down and shaking it and whatnot. And finally, the second one majestically flies, stretches his wings and flies out of the cage. And perfectly timed, a bird swoops across the yard and ganks the butterfly out of midair and steals it. So, with that all said, it kind of makes you realize how if we weren't on the top of the food chain and we weren't able to use tools and things like that, that's how our lives would be. Always kind of watching out for the big birds and the big dogs and just how things would work otherwise. I don't know. You guys can chime in on that however you so please, but I just wanted to kind of mention that.
In very subtle symbolism, that's actually a metaphor for how life actually is.
But do you know what I mean? Like we
are
take
always
so
looking
much
out for the big dogs.
But I mean, we take so much for granted upon survival. I mean, life's really not even about survival anymore because you can live off the government in America. You know what I mean? There's not really that survival anymore. Now, this is of course in civilized countries. I mean, there is battles for survivals in other places that aren't as settled and structured as our countries are. But what I'm saying is, it just kind of subtly, was a reminder to me about how life is kind of more fragile than we think about it is on a regular basis. So that was my story and what I wanted to share with the podcast and see what you guys could think about it or maybe dissect it and throw your 2 cents in on it.
Well,
Say, life is too short.
Well,
too short. I'm not sure. Life is definitely short.
Well, not necessarily the fact that it's short, more along the lines of that if you weren't at the top of the food chain, how you could literally go at any second by anybody that's above you.
Well, okay. By anybody that's above you is different, but right now we still can go at really any second.
I do agree. Like we could take it to a different point of view, which is that we've created machines that can just kill us easily. Like
diseases and cars are machines, I know, but basic ones.
So there could be aliens out there that they could be at the top of the food chain.
Right.
And even with humanity now, it's such a massive race, 7 billion, and counting, that there is still a food chain within humanity, even if it's not directly a food chain. There is a hierarchy.
Hierarchy.
Yeah, that's the word.
Illuminati. There you go.
That determines, like you said, the less civilized countries, there are still battles for survival. Depending on where you live.
When you take here's an interesting comparison. When you take a guy with a spear and put him against a lion, that lion is officially more dominant than that guy. Unless we're talking about some kung fu genius who can now make that into nunchucks or something. But the point is, if you take that on a different spectrum and a different point of view, and it's a guy with a gun and a lion, the guy with the gun unfortunately is going to win against the lion. I mean, we've kind of evolved so much that we always forget about the guy with the spear and the fact that there are still things out there that can easily kill us at any moment, like the bird killed the butterfly. That is what I wanted to cover on. If you guys don't have anything to say, we can take this away to a different topic.
I like how you added unfortunately there. It's like the guy is always unfortunately not going to be killed by the lion. It's like, that just got me a little bit.
Yeah, but it seems the human race has gone down the path of we're turning into massive arseholes. It's like I've heard like this thing like where this guy says, "Oh, if we ever go to an alien planet, we'll befriend them and shit." Yeah, fuck off, will we? We'll steal all their shit.
Our egos will overshadow the fear of being dominated.
Yeah, it's gonna change. In that situation, it'll start a tension. It'll probably go to racism and may eventually go to friendship, but probably go to nuclear war.
Probably more than that, but like anti.
No, I think you messed up the chain. I think it would go from nuclear war to racism to friendship. Yeah, I think it would.
You don't think there would be tension and then there would be discrimination where the aliens are supposed to be lower in humanity before we nuke them?
It was a joke.
Oh right, okay, okay.
Okay. Have you ever seen the movie District 9?
Yeah.
Where the space shuttle kind of comes in, right? And it's not necessarily weaponized in any way, shape, or form. And we essentially make a district for them to live in, and we just leave them be, and it slowly becomes like slums. Like, you know what I mean? I think that's what would kind of happen if
Lobster men.
Pardon?
Lobster men. That's what they are.
Yeah, they were kind of lobster men. All right.
I think I proved against Tanner that nukes can reach unreasonable distances.
Yeah, we still want to talk about that. I won that game.
I won that game. God damn it.
Putty, lead us in a direction.
But the directions are really short, and I wanted to continue on this deep topic.
There's not really much for me to cover, though. I mean, I've kind of had my 2 cents on this topic.
Okay, well, I'm gonna lead into this topic in a very unfashioned way. So,
Go for it.
do you know how gay are
So-
Brighton?
Well, if I was to say what I would, then I would probably get in a lot of trouble, and this podcast would probably cease to exist.
No, go on. Say what you said in the pre-show.
Well, if I did, then I would probably have a load of angry men after me.
It's fine. Just go. Nobody watches this podcast. It's just you and me.
What? It's the gay capital of the world. Actually, that's true.
No, San
Yeah.
Francisco is.
Is it?
I thought it was West Hollywood.
That's what they say in the U.S.
I
anyway.
thought it was Brighton.
San Francisco is the Rainbow City.
So is
Yeah,
Brighton.
but
Rainbow
that's
City.
that sounds like it's full of drug lords.
San Francisco?
Yeah, it sounds like it's full of
It
drug
is-
lords.
No, it's because it's filled with homosexuals.
Yeah, but it's where monkeys.
Why did I
took
have to
over.
be the one that made that joke? Oh.
It's where, oh, yeah, but in San
Tanner was
Francisco, monkeys took
Tanner subtly hinted at San Francisco being the Rainbow City, and of course just left that out on the field for anybody to make the gay joke. And I couldn't let it go. I couldn't just let it go.
Well, Tanner wasn't very subtle. Dino said Brighton was the gay capital of the world, and Tanner went, no, it's San Francisco.
Oh, I missed that part. I apologize. I had to mute my mic because somebody came into my room. I do apologize. I missed that part.
Very
but-
professional. It's fine. We make
well, at least I
sacrifices.
muted my mic.
That's why I said professional. It wasn't
Welcome, buddy.
sarcastic. God, people always think I'm sarcastic just because my voice is a little
Because-
sing-song.
No, because you don't. Okay, most people don't have they don't have subtle sarcasm. Their sarcasm's easily detected. For you, your voice never changes there's never any pitch or tone change for whether it's sarcasm or a joke. Like, so it's hard to say whether you're being sarcastic or whether you're being serious.
I have a lot of iron.
lot of iron.
I wonder if anyone got that joke except for one person.
I'm afraid it slipped by me, went right over my head.
Yeah, no.
You wait, Tanner didn't even get it?
Was I supposed to be the one to get it then?
No, Tanner
Oh,
was supposed to be-
iron. I get it.
Was I-
Okay.
Tanner was supposed to be the one to get it.
I didn't know what context you're going in.
It's,
I
it's
know now
okay,
what you're
Chip. We'll have our own joke.
I got something to bring up. It might not be something for you UK guys to talk about, but it probably is something for me and Tanner to discuss. Tanner, do you ever watch any UFC fights?
In the past,
Please.
more often than the present.
So please say yes, though. That way I can actually talk about this topic with you.
Yes, I have
Um,
watched UFC, not
Okay.
USC.
Fantastic. So you know that there's now a women's division, correct?
Correct.
All right. So there was how should I put it? I think it's transvestite is the way to say it, right?
Yeah.
So there was a transvestite that used to fight in a subdivision of the UFC as a male, and he had the hormone replacement therapy, which essentially balances your hormones against testosterone and in a positive way towards estrogen. And what it does is essentially gives you the same chemical balance as a female. And he also had gender replacement surgery, which means he essentially lopped off his male genitalia in a fair trade for female genitalia. So he's technically considered a female now. And he or she or it or whatever you people decide to call this person, because I don't know their name, so this person, this human, right, wants to fight in the female division of the UFC. Should that person be allowed to?
No.
Why
No?
not?
Why can't all of the men go get that surgery? But then,
They can. But they don't want to. They give up something in that regard.
No. Because here's the problem with it, buddy. The problem. Oh, I'm gonna mute my mic because of that horrible noise. You're gonna have to ignore it because I have something to say. It's kind of along the lines of the person was born a male. She has a male's jaw, male fists, the broad shoulders of a guy, just with fake tits and a new vagina. So take it as what you will, but should it be allowed is the question.
I think in the
Because
eyes of
it's up for
I think in the eyes of the government, it's a female, and so to me, I think it's reasonable because there are women who are born with those features too.
They should make a tranny division. Job done.
Oh, Dino!
That won't
the
be on
best
ESPN though.
solution. The best solution ever. The transsexual vestite. confused sexuality.
There you go. 'Cause
Unisex division.
then everyone has their own league, even trannies.
But at this point, it's not a tranny though. At this point, it is actually a female.
Yeah, but it still has like the
But
body
not.
aspects of the man.
Yeah, but the problem is it's not. I mean, it still has the build and capabilities of a guy, regardless of what it looks like. I don't know.
Some females are born with those builds as well. Some, very rare, but some.
Very rare.
Yeah.
Exactly, very rare.
But
Very
some.
rare.
So why can't this just be one of these very rare occasions?
Because if you let this one very rare in, then you're essentially letting a lot of very rare in, and then instead of it being very rare, it becomes rare to common. Is what the problem is.
Yeah, it becomes the norm.
It becomes how you compete.
Well, I
right?
don't think all trannies would then. I don't think the division would become completely changed
No.
sex.
But it would be dominated by trannies. It's the same problem with steroids in sports like baseball. The problem is if you let them in order to compete on a high school to college level, you have to be taking steroids. So in order to compete in the female division, you would have to be a guy changed to a chick. That's the problem that I see with it.
I can agree with that, but
Didn't they have a problem with that in the Olympics? Like some woman from Africa had
Hermaphrodite.
insane amounts of testosterone, like none that could ever be produced by a woman.
She was a hermaphrodite, I thought.
Yeah, that could have been what it is.
She had both genitalia, but they couldn't discriminate because she was primarily female. So they were kind of like, well, we're kind of screwed on this one, guys. So they were just like, well, let's not get sued. Let's let this go over our heads.
Yeah,
so
that's so difficult to actually decide, because the way you put it across was completely valid, but at the same time they are female.
But
I know the problem. I agree.
even if there was the very rare 3 transvestite females in the UFC division, they would dominate. You know what I mean? They would dominate.
Yeah, probably.
So, are you guys excited at all, even though most likely it's probably out of all of our immediate price range, but are you guys excited at all for Google Glass? The glasses that have the camera and heads-up display. It's essentially kind of like a phone that gives you a HUD in real life.
They're so weird. I don't want
So
to.
you're turning into the person from Deus Ex, pretty much.
Yeah, but it looks even more goofy than that. I wouldn't want to walk the street with them until they become norm. And it's dangerous because you can bloody wear them while driving.
Until they come the
They haven't
thing.
legalized that
No.
yet.
Here's my 2 cents on this. Like, I have 2 cents on everything.
You have 3 on some things.
I have 45 on most. So
You have a
buddy,
nickel.
So the problem with I see it with it is I don't really think it can be marketed to everybody, because I don't know if you guys have eye problems. I don't, but I know people, that are nearsighted. And if you're nearsighted, that means you can't focus on things that are really close to your eye. So how can you see a heads-up display that's projected right across the front of your eye? I don't know how you can see that. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you understand
I
what
know
I
what
mean?
you're
I
saying, yeah.
understand those.
Yeah. And then the second thing would be, as Putty covered, is driving. They consider texting and things of that nature, and even phone calls, of course, to be against the law in America for driving. What about when you have a heads-up display on your eyes that's, just there? Are they going to have to change rules for that? I don't know. I see more problems with it, but I don't really know how much of the population will actually be able to use it, because most people in the population do have eye problems. Whether it be nearsighted or farsighted is besides the point. I don't know. I would try them, though. I think it's cool. I think it's a cool idea. I think it'll work out fairly well. Yeah. What do you think?
I think it's a step in the right direction, but it's not a product that's going to interest me, and I don't think it's a very good product.
I think it's like the first cell phone that you had to carry in a briefcase because it was so big. You know, kind of what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
maybe this is like the next thing that kind of like revolutionizes how humans live. And they just haven't got it fine-tuned enough yet that you can fit it in your pocket, sort of.
Exactly.
Hypothetically, not
Completely
hypothetically.
agree.
So Tanner, all right, you are now a head designer at Google. Okay,
I
congratulations.
actually haven't looked at this yet. I'm Googling it right now. So
Oh.
continue. Ask me your question.
All right. So you are now a head designer at YouTube, or not YouTube, Google. All right.
Which owns
And-
Who owns YouTube?
I know, but like you just said, okay, it's a step in the right direction, but it's the start of something better. what do you think they should take this initial idea and phase it into? Like you said, they took the car phone and the brick, as they used to call them, cell phone, and they made them into iPhones. Now you have what I'm trying to explain is now you have the Google Glass, the glasses. What direction do you take that in order to make it to an iPhone level? You get what I'm saying. I'm just trying to explain it. So contact lenses, says Putty. So
and brain augmentation at some point.
You know what? The bad thing is that could happen.
Mm-hmm. Bad, eventually, bad, good for brain augmentation is a completely different discussion. That's more.
The way I'm looking at it, everything that they have listed, I don't know if you can record what you see, you can take a picture of what you see, you have road directions right in front of you.
Yeah, it's kind of like a heads-up display. Like they'll eventually make apps for them where you can play with your hands.
Oh god.
Like but like what I'm saying is, if both screens have projectors on them, then they could for sure make a screen that shows your hands in a game and you have to pop bubbles. Now maybe that wouldn't be a game for all of us in this call because we're kind of gamers, but it would be a cool game for kids that are younger, around maybe 8 to 11. My point is, like, eventually it'll go into cool little bubble popping games, or throwing balls up in the air and catching them, and things like that.
Eventually it will become Call of Duty.
And eventually it would become where you're walking around your house clearing it from zombies.
Eventually.
Yeah, exactly. I think eventually that's where your virtual reality games would come in.
Yeah.
So
would be in that sort of thing.
Speaking on virtual reality, right? Okay, so this is kind of an interesting thing. Tanner, you might have to enlighten me here because I don't remember the exact play out of this. When the DVD was fighting against another brand, what was it fighting against? Because there was the DVD and then there was something else. Do you remember what it was?
Oh God, no.
Well,
but I do remember the simple fact that it was like one of those times where you I can't think of another time off the top of my head where you had to choose between one of two things, and
right.
One survived and then the other one just went away.
Maybe, yeah, exactly. That's the point. But maybe it may have been VHS and cassette.
Yeah, VCR.
Okay, so let's.
There was two different VCRs. Yeah, that's what it was.
Okay, so that's what I was thinking of. It wasn't DVD. DVD phased out both of them. But if you remember, VHS tapes got popular, and they took grasp. Do you guys know why VHS dominated cassette?
Because you could
more
store videos.
Tanner, do you know?
No.
The porn industry.
Oh yeah. I can see that.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
Whatever they back is $1 billion industry. So anything that they back essentially will promote the growth of whatever. That's why.
So you're trying to say that Google Glass is the next step in the porn industry.
No. Well,
porn on the go.
Interactive.
Yeah, you could literally.
Good God, that would. You would have to sit there and wonder, like, you think that guy's looking at porn right now?
You put on the glasses and you're just flipping tits. So. The point of this, right, is not necessarily Google Glass, but you brought up the mention of simulation, where they're trying to get more of a simulation type feel in things. There's a company that made a simulation overhead type thing that's not connected with Google Glass whatsoever, but it's a simulation thing that kind of goes over your head, and you are kind of in a different world where you do everything there, right?
Well, the Oculus Rift.
Branches of the pornography industry are using that, and they're picking up on that, and they're launching businesses off of that. So that could actually take off as one of the new virtual reality type games. But what do you think of virtual reality games? Do you think it'll eventually get to where you can sit down? Yeah, have you guys ever seen the movie Gamer? Like where you can sit down and you plug yourself into a world, and you're there and you feel it, you can smell it. The weather changes, you get cold, you get hot. Things like that. Do you think it'll ever get to the point where you're actually physically feeling and recepting things that aren't just your eyes?
Probably one day, but probably not in our lifetime.
Oh, I think in our lifetime.
You think
it'll be like that? It'll be like the thing from Scooby Doo where they go into the game world.
I think, as Tanner said, we're in the beginnings of it.
Yeah.
Okay, just like things like 3D movies. Yeah. 3D movies for a generation behind us, I don't know how old Tanner is, it may have been his generation, but a generation behind us was the beginnings of 3D movies. And now we're into where 3D movies are on its peak. Like, they're really,
I still think it has a bit to go. I still don't
well,
think
no,
it's...
but you know what I mean? It's phasing up.
Yeah.
So I think we are actually at the beginning of the virtual reality and simulation thing where it's going to grow with us. Which is pretty
I think by the time next 20, 30 years.
Yeah, I agree.
You're going to, if you look at the cell phone was probably, 40 years total to get to the point where it is now.
Or faster
from, you're in your car in your 70s to in your, chest pocket in the 2010s. So, I don't know, by 2050, I think you probably have it.
Yeah.
Well,
honestly, what excites me more about Google Glass rather than the virtual reality thing that you said, which does excite me, but I think that's the virtual reality industry. What excites me more about this Google Glass thing is what it does now, is having a more organized and life aid, basically. But what I want it to go is to make it smaller, to make it work while you're driving. You can turn it off, to have it more integrated into you than have these goofy big glasses.
There's only a very select few who have seen, because picture it this way: Google Glass is kind of still in beta. Like they offered people to buy them as it stands right now, a selected group of like maybe 1,000 people, but they were like almost $3,000 to buy them in beta. And people have seen them, right? People have messed around with them, but they are kind of signed a contract. So nobody really knows what the final product of Google Glass will be. It may turn us all into
robots.
Mind chips.
Yeah, exactly. But
Adam Jensen.
Nobody's really seen the final version of it, so it's hard to say what direction they're going to go in, go with it in. So it'll be interesting. It will be interesting. But it's like I said, it's more cool to be on the generation that's going to kind of grow up with the simulation type things. Did you guys see I'm trying to think of what team it was. There was a football game.
Are you talking about what I wanted to talk about next? I wonder.
I'm not sure. It's where both teams agreed to let this kid that had some brain problems.
Right.
It's actually I live in Nebraska, so like it was actually a really big deal.
It wasn't a big deal in Nebraska?
He's been like hanging out with the team for like the last 3 years, and like the whole team just like visits him in the hospital every week. And but yeah, like I'm glad that it blew up as much as it has. I think it's a really cool story.
I do. So for those of you listeners that have made it this far into the podcast, first of all, congratulations.
You'll get your word at the very end.
You'll get your cookie. Don't worry.
No, we have a thing where we give them a word that they can write in the comments, and we'll give them a shout out, which reminds me, I'll have to do that as well. Crap.
All right.
Yeah.
You're welcome for reminding you.
Ellis Smith, I remember. I'll say your proper channel name.
Where was I?
Yeah,
okay, so the kid kind of grew up his whole life on the down low, kind of, fighting for cognitive functions, as in just being able to walk as far as I know. Tanner, like I said, intrude me and interrupt me. But
yeah, I mean, he had brain cancer, so.
Okay, yeah, and he had all these brain problems, and he's at the point now where he can do cognitive functions, like I said, and I guess he's been hanging out with his football team, and they got two teams together that decided to let him come into a play, and it was a shotgun 69-yard handoff where they handed the little kid the ball, and he ran all the way for a touchdown with the football players pretending like they were going to tackle him and whatnot. It was really, really cool to see, honestly. I have to say, for Tanner, it's probably a little bit more closer to the heart because it is in his general area, but it was really, really cool to see.
No, I agree. I think you don't see a story like this once a year. Like, it's something that happens. It's something that I think changes how some people think about things, I guess.
The problem is, and here's the problem, the reason you don't see stories like this every year is because almost all news organizations focus on the negative and not the positive.
Exactly.
You would never, or you would have, but I would have never have heard of this story had it not been for YouTube. YouTube
or
is
Twitter,
Yeah, YouTube is not a news organization at all. I didn't see this on the news. I seen it on YouTube, and the news didn't see it until it was on YouTube, and it got big. You know what I mean? Because almost all news organizations focus on the negative, and there are reasons for them focusing on the negative. Negative stories sell more than positive stories do. That's kind of one of the bad things about our society is that negative stories are more interesting than positive stories. But when you watch the news, you'll see a 5-to-1 ratio of shootings or murders or thievery and things like that. And every once in a while, you'll see a story like this, as Tanner said, a once-a-year occurrence. I wish that the news was geared more towards positive, but unfortunately, I don't think it'll ever be that way. But this is the shining diamond in the lump of coal, and we do get to see a great story like this emerge from YouTube. And I am glad it did blow up this big, because this is a big deal for the kid, and I don't know. I'm kind of done
for the team as well.
I think where I live, that team is like, that's what you talk about all year round. Like Nebraska football is like the biggest thing here. Is it? So yeah, we don't really have anything else. We have corn and football. So
when you say football, do you mean soccer or
American? Helmets, shoulder pads. But yeah, I think it was like within 2 days it had like 2.5 million views on YouTube, and it was just like crazy. And then the other thing I wanted to is like there was a top 10 on SportsCenter, which is like Sky Sports for ESPN.
The top 10
like
plays.
it finally
put it on the top 10 plays.
Yeah, it finally took over. There was a play that had the number one play on SportsCenter for like 100 and some odd days, and it finally took it over as the number one play.
Oh, that is awesome.
It's the number one. It'll be the number one. I don't know if you could take it down from the number one play. Like, who's going to do that?
To have an immaculate reception in order to pass that up. Like
that is. They showed the U.S. map, and like where the play it happened was South Carolina. So the South Carolina was red, and then the rest of the United States was blue. So like all the votes in the rest of the United States were for that play, and it was, I don't know, I thought it was cool.
No, that is really cool. I didn't really know that. Thank you for
really
shining.
Cool.
I didn't really think that it would be eligible for a top 10 play thing, but it was really cool to think about that. I wanted to actually bring something up, because I was watching basketball, and basketball is really, the pace of the game is judged by the shot clock, right?
Yeah.
In order to continue playing basketball, in order to continue having the ball, you have to shoot within, is it 45 or
24?
24 seconds.
Well, in the college game, it's 35.
Yeah, college, it's 35. Okay. I think I would only watch soccer if they had a shot clock.
I don't think you can implement one, because
you can't really do that
quickly.
Because for me, I can't watch soccer.
Watch football.
Because I watch soccer, right? And I'll sit there for 4 minutes and nothing exciting happens. Like, I can't stand watching correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know how long soccer games go on, because I've never made it. I can't sit there for 90 minutes when there's only going to be 2 to 3 points scored. There's not really anything exciting, but I think if they implemented like a minute shot clock where your team has a minute to actually get down the field and make something happen, then soccer would be a lot more interesting for me.
Yeah, but
I don't know. Shoot me down with counter arguments if you may, but
coming from an American, this is how I had, when I first started watching it, had to kind of, this is how I'm going to say it. You have to almost watch it as like a painter painting a masterpiece, like watching a team like pass it and move and then finally get the goal. And it's, for me, it's just like watching something beautiful. Like, they call it the beautiful game for a reason, and that's kind of how you have to view it.
Would you compare it to kind of like hockey? Because hockey's kind of the same way, where you're kind of watching them orchestrate a picture or a play and things like that. But to me, hockey's just more exciting because, there's contact, there's things like that. Whereas soccer's just kind of, I don't know.
I watching Busquets get punched in the face and fall over like he's been shot.
I can't really get into soccer like Europeans or Tanner has. It's just, it's not my cup of tea.
Well, to be fair though, it's like one of those things. It's like me and Puddy have grown up with football, as we've come from England, which is a very football-heavy country.
And Wales, which wants to be a very football-heavy country.
You guys have grown up with football. I've grown up with more along the lines of baseball. I mean, I've been playing baseball since I could hold a bat.
Well, I've grown as a counter-argument to you, Dino. I've actually grown up with rugby, and I hate rugby.
I've grown up with football.
I hate rugby, and I grew up with that. So I prefer football, and I didn't watch football as a kid. Well, I watched football. I never played it. I played rugby.
I got with
All right.
football and basketball.
Putty,
Yeah.
do you have the wrap up ready for this show? Do you feel like it's time to wrap up?
No.
Would you like?
You guys had your American UFC talk. I have one more conversation I wanna.
Yo,
talk
yo,
about.
I wasn't sure if we were nearing the end. If you had
We
any
have
final things
around
prepared,
about 20 minutes. I want to fill.
go for it.
Okay. Right.
Lead us to the.
Well, there's
end
going
of
to
the
be like
tunnel.
2 or 3 topics in this 20 minutes, I think. Tanner,
Okay.
do you know?
Yep.
For those of you who didn't see, Monday ended 2-1 to the blue side. Right? Is
To the City.
is this the start of the fairy tale?
No.
The optimism.
If United throw the title,
It would
then
be the greatest thing in history.
yeah, but they did it.
Did you see
last
what it
week.
was? It's like statistically, it's 99.3% United's title.
It's 10 points. It's 10 points.
It's 12 points, isn't it?
It's 12-point gap, but if United get 10 points, they've won the title.
It's 12 points. They've got 7 games left.
So United have just got to get 10 points to win the title.
United pretty much need to lose every single game, and the only games
They
I
need to
see
lose
them
4.
losing,
They need to lose 4 games.
the only games I see them losing points at is
Chelsea.
Chelsea and Arsenal.
Stoke?
Stoke has given them problems in
Yeah.
the past.
Stoke is a difficult place to go to.
Stoke
if they're
can't
going to
score.
Stoke.
If they,
Is their problem.
Yeah, I know. If they somehow lose to Stoke, lose to Arsenal, and lose to Chelsea, then they only need to lose 1 more to drop the title.
I think City hasn't got the squad this year good enough.
Yeah. But wouldn't it be incredible, though?
It'll be another fantastic end for another good season. Actually, this season's been terrible.
This
Last
season's
season
been
was
alright.
like,
It's not been too
well,
bad.
this season's
think-
been crap.
I think everybody that I know loves this Cinderella story, though.
It's not
like-
really a Cinderella story for City now.
When you
It was
think
last
about
year.
it, these guys are billionaires and
Yeah.
bought their title. Like it's
Man,
No.
it's
last
almost like
They didn't-
the rich girl came to
didn't
town
buy it.
and then she won homecoming.
They didn't
queen.
buy it as
Is
much as
kinda what
they
happened.
didn't buy it as much as
You-
Chelsea did.
No, but do you get what I'm saying? Everybody loves the comeback story. Like, for example, if I'm watching a sports game and I don't have really any emotional interest in either team, I will vote for the team that is down below. I will vote for the team that is losing, just because I'd rather watch the comeback than the domination. Regardless of what team I like, I will always root for the guy that's losing. For some reason, I don't know why. And like I said, if I knew why, I'd tell you. But anytime I watch any sport event, whoever's losing is the guy that I'll root for, as long as my favorite team's not playing. But I will always vote for the guy that's losing, just because I like the comeback story. I do. I like the comeback. I like the Cinderella story. I like the out of the nowhere winner. You know, I don't know why. Does anybody else kind of feel that way?
It does make things more interesting, but I don't think we're going to see another Premier League as exciting as it was last season. Like
I'll
the
be
end of that
cheering
Last
season.
season, I could see.
I'll be cheering for whoever plays United, except for when Chelsea and Arsenal play United.
I will be going to
I'll cheer
Brighton.
for Arsenal. I
having
won't
a
cheer for
pitch-
Chelsea.
I'll be going to Brighton having a pitch invasion when they beat Wolves and Brighton get a promotion for playoff spot.
They might.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like it.
Well, no, wait. You need to go to Wembley. That's what you need to do.
Oh man.
Which, speaking of Wembley, Wigan hasn't sold all their tickets for the semifinal.
You should buy one.
Yeah, you're right. I should. But who
I
would
should
really
buy one.
honestly want to go see Wigan Millwall?
Oh, the atmosphere. Have I not said this before? It is
Millwall
two-
is amazing.
Yeah, no, it's 2 of the worst teams in the top 2 divisions
Don't
playing
insult
at
Millwall.
Wembley for a European place. That atmosphere is
Exactly.
going to
Yeah,
be
it is. It is a
incredible.
European, but they've opened it up to neutrals. So like, you're gonna have basically Millwall fans there, but like,
Yeah.
still.
You're going to have Charlton fans in the Wigan end just so they can start a fight.
You're going to have Chelsea fans just because they're never going to get to Wembley otherwise. No?
Well, they have to play.
City.
They have to play Man City.
They play City in the other semifinal.
City will win the FA Cup. So that'll
I
be
hope.
City's bit
No.
of silverware this season.
No,
I hate Chelsea so much, but I just have such a soft spot for Benitez that I really hope he wins the double.
he'll be the next Everton.
And then he just puts
That's
his
a
middle
great
finger up
shout.
and just walks out the stadium.
Yeah, he just takes the European cap he's supposed to hand to John Terry and he just walks down the stairs. And that'd be hilarious.
And just like, fuck all of you.
Yeah, these are my trophies.
So, how about them Lakers?
Ooh.
I guess you're
I
talking
wish
about baseball.
I don't.
Am I the
follow
only
NBA
one?
as much
Am
as I
I the
used to.
only one that can laugh at that joke? Tanner, really?
Well, I mean, I don't follow the NBA quite as much, but I get the fact
it's
that
not
like
it's not an NBA joke. It's a joke that you use in silence. It's how about them Lakers? It doesn't even pertain to the Lakers at all. I have no
how
idea.
about them Knicks?
For the last segment that you guys have taken this podcast away, I've been sitting here with absolutely no chip-ins to say.
No, you haven't.
So my
you
chip
came in about the sports thing and the rooting thing.
Well, I had to come in with something. So the point is, I lost my point. Take it away with more soccer.
With the comeback thing, I'll go back to that. United are 12 points in front, and I want them to screw it up because I hate United. But Barcelona and Celtic, I'd love them to just continue and win the title. I don't care.
I honestly do wish that I knew what you guys were talking about. Like
Scottish
seriously,
football is terrible.
I wish I could join in on this conversation with Tanner. I wish I was the shining light of this conversation and could chip in. But I can honestly say, without embarrassment, I have no clue what you are talking about.
if you want to watch a football game, watch the Champions League final next month.
No, wait, it depends what teams are in it, because if it's Real Madrid versus Dortmund, it's not going to be that good.
Yeah, but that's the semi-final.
Oh, wait, no, the draw hasn't happened yet. The draw's on Friday.
Tanner.
Yeah.
Tanner.
Yes.
I'm curious about this, right? So
Yep.
you said that you were in Nebraska, okay? You're in an American football
Still my
state,
topic.
right? So everybody there is about football and corn, right?
Yep.
How did you get into European soccer or soccer, whatever you want to call it? How did you get into it? Like what got you
Liverpool's
into
a
it? 'Cause
fantastic city, and you couldn't resist Everton.
So I've started hanging out with a new friend group, clique, with air quotes, in high school, and the one guy in the group played soccer for the high school team. So I started playing FIFA, and FIFA just led me to find a team, and then that team just kind of built more and more. I started watching it more, and the more you watch it, the more you get into it.
It was gaming then?
Technically, yeah, it was FIFA first.
Because I've had a sense that you really didn't, like the Europeans in this call, you didn't really grow up with soccer. You kind of got into it through a video game, which is...
Well, actually, funny story is, as a 7-year-old, I was in soccer and I was in baseball. And so, we'd go 2 nights a week it was soccer, 3 nights a week it was baseball. And we, go to wrong places on wrong nights. And so my dad sat me down and he goes, all right, you can choose baseball or you can choose soccer. And I said, all right, I want to play soccer. And he goes, all right, you're playing baseball. And I would have been a soccer player, but I played baseball instead.
That is the best story.
So I could have been the next Leo Messi, but we'll never know.
What, missing open goals?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you saw how you would have done it on the
Tanner, in Lords of Football, that is your ego.
Am I the only person who thinks Barcelona are the world's best club, Messi or not?
Best club, Messi.
Best club without Messi.
Best club without Messi.
I still think they'd be the best club in the world.
They managed to do work against PSG.
Yeah, but Messi came on before the goal was scored.
Did he? I think he came on afterwards.
No, he came on before, and the Sky Sports commentators were going crazy. Oh, he has an influence. Oh, he has an influence.
Oh yeah, believe me, here in the US, Messi won the game for Barcelona.
Yeah, here in the UK he did as well. It was
I
stupid.
think if it's like with Tottenham, I think if Messi was taken out of Barcelona, then it would be like Tottenham without Bale.
But I argue that Tottenham's still a good team without Bale.
Tottenham shit.
They've got Vertonghen.
They play a different style.
They've got Vertonghen. They've got Walker. Defoe's still a very good player. They've got Aaron Lennon, who's still a very good player. They're not as good. They're nowhere near as good, but they're still a good team.
I don't like
They'd still be in the top 6.
Yes,
Tanner.
Tippa.
All right. Do you, since your state, as you said, I don't know if you're into it, but since your state is into football, American football, do you watch American football? Are you into American football?
Yeah, that's like...
You are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
What do you think about them if they took out, this is a hypothetical situation, but if they took out every single football helmet, what do you think would happen?
If you didn't wear head protection?
Yes.
It would eventually turn into a game where people on death row would only be able to play it because you would be dead.
Right, but the argument is, right, and I don't have any chips or cards in this battle, but the argument is if that you dull down the protection of helmets instead of increasing the protection of helmets, that you will reduce the concussion rate.
I could see that. Yeah, like that. I kind of thought of it at first as no helmet protection leads to 4 concussions a game, which means you're out for the year after you played one game.
The idea is you take the contact sport and you take away the player's confidence, right? Being a football player and knowing that you have a high-tech helmet that's supposed to save you from any situation, you will lead into a tackle with your head because you are confident in your gear and your capabilities. So the idea is you take away that player's confidence in leading with his head, and he's not going to lead with his head. That's the idea of it.
Oh, so yeah, I understand what you're saying.
They've compared statistics in preseason with the NFL and how many concussions there were in just the preseason games alone in football for one team that was between 4 and 6 concussions, because it's a ridiculous amount in the preseason for just 1 or 2 teams. Okay, so they took that statistic and they compared it to rugby, where you don't have head protection, but it is as much as a full contact sport as football.
Not much, but
in America, the rugby tournaments and organizations only have between 6 and 8 concussions a year in an entire season. And in American football, they have literally that many in a game. In a bad game. You know what I mean? So the idea is that if you take away their helmets and you dull down their confidence and protection, whether or not it would lower the concussion rate of players. So I've officially put all the details out there. What do you think, Tanner?
I think that if, kind of how you were saying, if you did do that, I think the players right away probably wouldn't, but I think like as, you know, kind of how we were talking about generations before, like the next couple years after, like, you know, it would have to start down at the way low levels, I think, because people playing it now, I think they'd still lead with their head into tackles and that sort of thing. I think it would have to be taught fundamentals as a kid when you're 7 years old and you're just first starting is when it would start to change. So you probably wouldn't see a change right away.
It needs to change with the generations. It can't change with just saying, "Hey, everybody do this," because everybody's not going to do that. That's not what they've been taught their whole life. Defensive players who have been taught to make a tackle regardless. You can't let that person by you. They're going to do whatever it takes to stop that person from getting by them.
Or like the big hit where you lead with your head is something cool and people think of you highly for it. Like you'd have to.
Exactly.
They're trying to do that now with like fines and suspensions, but
it's not going to work.
Yeah.
So, do you think, Tanner, that you should take the helmets now and either advance them to the point where you could get ran over by a semi-truck with 8 wheels, right, or 18 wheels, ran over and you'll be fine, or do you think they should just take the helmets off? What do you think direction the NFL should go in? Do you think they should take it in a direction where, like I said, they advance helmets to the future where nobody gets concussions, or they reduce the helmets so people lose confidence in what their capabilities are when they lead with a hit?
If, as a football fan, as it is currently now, I would probably go with the semi-truck route.
You would go just to see the big hits? Because do you like watching the big hits? Because I gotta say, big hits are really cool to see until you notice a guy's getting carried out on a stretcher. You know what I mean?
Which actually, that when we were talking about the SportsCenter top 10, the number one play was a huge hit. Like decleated the guy, like was left on a stretcher. But it's been the number one play on SportsCenter for like 150 days.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, I think it's cool to watch a big hit, right? And I think it's awesome to watch all the big hits. However, it's not fun to watch the big hits when the guy either leaves the field on a stretcher or in 30 years he can't remember his own name. Do you know what I mean? Sure, It's fun to be the spectator and enjoy it, but at what cost is it to the players? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's my point of view.
That's where I kind of go when like people are like, why does he need to get paid $20,000 a year? And it's not $20,000, $20 million.
$20,000. What are you doing?
Yeah, but it was to be like, because he's going to have a 4-year career and he's going to need to make his whole lifespan like what we would normally have for 60 years. They need to make that in 5.
I agree. Well, not to mention the whole organization is so oversaturated in money that they don't know who to throw it at.
Exactly.
But I don't know. Have you seen the basketball injury to, I think it's Louisville?
Yeah, the guy that broke his leg.
What a freak injury.
Yeah, it was disgusting. Those sorts of things I cannot watch.
Oh, what a freak injury! Did you watch the video or pictures?
I watched it. Someone filmed it on their TV on YouTube and put it up.
So you watched the video because the video is worse in my opinion than the pictures.
Oh, I mean, I've seen it happen before where the guy's he went up for a layup and he came down and both of his legs did that. And you're just like, oh my God, how could you?
When you watch the video, it's as if this was meant to be. I don't believe in fate or anything like that, but it was such a freak incident and just out of the ordinary accident. All he did was land on his back foot when he was I think he was either off a jump or something, but he landed on his back foot and if you watch, his ankle landed plush. He landed how you're supposed to land, and it was just his leg was like, fuck this, I'm not helping, and just gave out. Yeah. It was like, I'm done here. My work here's done. You know what? You've been jumping on me. This is the day. I've had enough. Yeah. And I mean, it's such a freak injury to watch. I don't know. I don't really have a problem watching it. It doesn't really bother me to watch it, but it's just so weird to watch it because it's one of those things that shouldn't have happened. Your body's supposed to be resilient against things like that, but I guess freak accidents happen all the time, and that was just an example of one of them.
All right, Tippa, so you keep trying to divert the conversation, but we have to get the soccer out of the way. All right.
I think we've probably gone on below you.
I got one more
Shameless
soccer
promotion.
Thing. No, we need one more soccer thing, and Tippa, this is the last topic of the show, so don't try and divert it, alright?
And then shameless promotion.
All right, it's all yours. It's all
Tanner,
yours, buddy.
I know you have an emotional investment in this, but do you know you can answer as well? How many years until Rangers win the SPL?
3.
3?
3?
3? Wait, no. Can they even get into the SPL in 3 years?
They'll get promoted this season. Next season.
Are they? I thought they were playing for promotion today.
No, they've already won the title.
Yeah, they'll go up again next season. The season after that,
they'll win the SPL.
And then the SPL. Well, they'll go Division 2 next season.
I want to know how many years it's going to take to win the SPL.
Yeah, 3.
5.
3.
Yeah, they're just going to go shut up and win it.
Really? Do you agree, Tanner, as someone who's had to do that yourself?
It's difficult on FM, let me tell you. I still haven't won it.
Oh,
so
how many years?
15?
Ooh, that's how long.
No, actually, I think I'm in year 9 and still haven't done it. Oh. So I think realistically, probably 5 to 7.
And do you think it's just going to be straight up? Is their squad as good as it was in the SPL? I thought it took a lot of hits.
Yeah, but they're just going to improve it every year.
Do they have the money to do that though?
They'll probably have it from winning this cup.
They've got a lot of television deals even down there because ESPN have taken on all their matches.
And FIFA have bought the rights to them as well.
What do you mean?
On Ultimate Team, they weren't going to be on Ultimate Team, yeah. But then so many people complained about it that they're like, well, we'll go buy the rights, and they're the only team in that league. It says Scottish League, and then it's just Rangers.
They have FIFA's weird because they still don't have a lot of leagues, and they still have a lot of national teams. They need to do it. So do you think realistically with half a season television deal they have half of their games of a season on ESPN, and is that going to resume for the second division and first division? By the way, do you guys know?
Probably.
Yeah, and alright, they're not selling as much merchandise. They're not selling as many tickets, although Ibrox does get filled up quite a bit. Do you really think they'll have the money to build a decent team in the SPL in 3 years' time?
Eventually, but I think they're going to do it in 3 years.
You think they're instantly going to go up, have the
instantly going to go up and win it?
What is the average budget for a team to pay salary in soccer?
Yeah, it differs completely throughout years.
What do you think the average for the Premier League is?
600,000.
That's it?
A week?
A week.
Oh, okay. No, I mean yearly.
Total wages for Everton this year were 180 million.
180 million. What is the Yankees? I'm gonna look this up right now because I actually want to know. This is something interesting.
But they are putting in financial fair play, are they not?
Yeah, but no. Some people don't understand that. That's not limiting people's money they can spend. Financial fair play is just you cannot put more contract offers on the table than you have wage budget. That's the only thing. The problem is a lot of people are having 6 people considering contracts and only actually taking 1 on. You can't do that anymore. You can only put out a contract offer of your wage budget. So if you put out 6 contract offers and you have a £20,000 a week wage budget, you can't put out 6 £20,000 a week offers anymore.
Okay.
That's one of the biggest things for financial fair play on wages.
Forbes rates that the New York Yankees make $441 million a year, and their payroll is $206 million a year. How does that compare with the most popular team in soccer? Give me what is the most
popular team? Barcelona makes €2 billion a year.
2 billion. Okay, I
Like
was
it was
curious.
to the point where they didn't need a shirt sponsor, kind of like how you see that standard Chardard on Putty's shirt in his picture. They didn't need it. They just put
charity,
what was it?
UNICEF, I think.
They just put a charity on their shirt because they didn't need anyone to buy it.
And Real Madrid been playing with.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, they have a basketball team.
That's actually
they are a multinational global.
I think on Forbes' list though, wasn't Manchester United the most? I think it's the highest valued. Sporting thing.
Well, probably because it's on the stock market.
And it's all most of its stocks this year.
Yeah.
But I my numbers are probably wrong, 2 billion, but they do make in that region of money because they have so much. And their basketball team's really good too.
That was just something I was curious about. I figured I'd throw my question in there.
The average football team probably makes about £1,000 a year. The average football team, honestly. There are millions of them, so.
I think Tottenham today announced losses of like 7 million.
Like 60% of the Premiership makes losses.
Say Brighton are 80 million in debt.
Oh, Liverpool are like 200 million in debt. A lot of the Premier League teams are in debt as well. It's just a loan debt.
Alright, Putty, do you have all of the thank yous set up for the people that watched the video?
There's only one, don't worry about it. But
actually, no, I could probably say another one as well because I've linked it to my mate of mine. He watched it all the way through.
Alright, yeah. The first thing we'll cover then, before we go on to shameless promotion and what's going up on the channel, is the one guy that commented the word last week, which is tank.
Question mark.
Question mark, exclamation mark, question mark. He's made his channel after the whole thing where YouTube wants to use your name, and if you do use your name when you're creating a channel, your channel name, you know, when you have to type it in the URL, it's a big string of letters and numbers, but his name's Ellis Smith, and his channel link will be in the description.
To be fair though, what's the point of like promoting his channel? He's probably got more subscribers than we do.
No, he has 0.
Oh, okay.
Just as a tiny reward for making it through. And a little, if he's watching this after all this time. The word for this week is grape.
Cream cheese.
Grape and cheese.
What about canoe? Canoe's in...
Yeah, okay, go canoe.
Go canoe.
Canoe it is.
Did you say you had someone else
Cream
to say?
cheese, grape, canoe.
Oh yeah, one of my mates who watched it, but I'll thank him when actually I've already thanked him for watching it.
Alright, so what's going up on this channel this week we'll go for first. So that's... yesterday, part 3 of me and Tanner's Civ game went up, and it's going up on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Right, Tanner?
The rest, we really don't have anything planned. It's kind of basically you record it and you throw it up there. So you saw Dino put up a couple videos.
We might, if all goes to plan, and if my Xbox can be fixed. Me and Tanner might be doing some day 1 stuff on the Call of Duty DLC on Tuesday.
Zombies.
Yeah, so that's what.
So that would be on, but we're still kind of Jumpet needs to put some stuff up, but he was looking at doing that today, and Alvin's gonna do some indie spotlight, kind of like Dino did, because he has 160,000 games.
He's now at 160,002.
Well, he got cakes today.
Yeah.
So.
There you got his cakes.
He had a lot of cakes. Tipacanoe.
What's going on your channel?
Which is Canoe Tippers in the description.
Fantastic. Hopefully some of the people that are listening to this will swing by the channel. I've definitely shared more than I could imagine on this podcast. I've literally turned 10-minute segments into 45-minute segments.
Turned an hour-long podcast into 2 hours.
Which, like I said, is usually frowned upon. However, Putty does enjoy the fact that I stretched out and complained and bickered about as much as I possibly could.
And completely diverted our soccer topics and made me and Dino
You know what? I had to talk about something with Tanner, but I did let you guys finish, so you can let it go, Putty.
Yeah,
Same
I
with you,
can appreciate that.
You guys made me sit alone with nothing to say, so I decided me and Tanner are going to talk about American football.
You had plenty to say.
So, what I'd like to say is on the Canoe Tippers channel, I run it with one of my best friends in real life, and we plan on doing anything that we find really interesting or entertaining. Lately, I've been trying my field in some Call of Duty commentary, sharing some stories like I did today, And anything interesting or entertaining, like I said, we don't really limit our channel to anything in particular. If we find something interesting or something that we can make entertaining, we do value the fact that we will be able to put it up without a problem. Right now, we have 2 Let's Plays going. We have a Don't Starve Let's Play and a Gary's Mod Let's Play, and I usually do 2 commentaries during the week. Once my buddy gets back, we plan on having him doing a full weekend of Let's Plays, and I'll have my 2 commentaries during the week still. But that's what to look forward onto my channel, and hopefully we will be able to revive my podcast as soon as my partner comes up, and we will have a bit of a get-together between your 3 hosts and my 3 hosts, and we will kind of have a bit of an extravaganza podcast going, so look forward to that in the future. Other than that, there's not really much I can say about my channel besides come on over, give me a try. If you like what you see, hang around. We'll be providing a lot more in the future and what's to come. So, Putty, do you want to lead us out and wrap this thing up?
Hold on. Give Tanner a chance to speak. Wait,
my channel.
I'm kidding. Tanner, what have you got going on your channel this week?
If you've seen a game on YouTube, I'll probably be playing it sometime this week. I don't know. I have that problem where I play so many different games and I want to record so many different games that I have like 8 things going on at once. So if you have looked at my channel, you'll notice that I put up like 3 different games a day. So I'm sure you'll find something you like. Just jump on over.
All right.
So Tanner's officially the channel for everyone. You can find a ridiculous amount of things that you don't like. However, you will always find that one thing that you do like.
Yeah, exactly.
Dino needs a job, so YouTube doesn't let him have a channel. So his stuff can be found on the round table only. He doesn't have his personal.
Which,
channel.
speaking of, couldn't your job center, couldn't you technically tell the job center your job is YouTube?
No.
Would they accept that as a field?
But they would be like, okay, how much do you make off it? Like nothing.
A couple cents every couple days.
That would affect his job seeker's allowance. Leave him alone.
I don't even have job seekers allowance. I'm not even 18.
All right.
So
we'll talk about this in the post show. What's coming up on my channel this week is on Monday we have the game against Hanover, and I nerd rage a lot about how we lose 4-1. And we're not going to be.
Whose fault was that?
It was not my fault. Okay, they were playing a 4-4-2 with Timothy Chandler. It was Timothy Chandler's fault.
Yeah, makes sense to me. Makes sense.
He's an American.
I know he is, and I convinced him out of retirement, and then he.
Jamil Adam was in there as well.
Timothy Chandler I convinced out of retirement, and then he had a hissy fit at me because I didn't pick him in my next USA squad. Anyway, on Wednesday we have the game against Wolfsburg, which is a massive fight for Champions League football with Dortmund and Hanover. And then on Friday it's the season premiere of Season 4, in which we take on Nuremberg in a replay of our DFB Pokal final from 2022. There we go. On the channel, obviously, I got Civ 5 and next week's podcast, which is going to feature a good friend of mine from a while ago, Marshall Peterson, who we will talk about Fallout for probably longer than this podcast. Yeah, that's about it. So, go subscribe to all of these people, except for Dino, because YouTube won't let him have a channel. Subscribe to the Roundtable, give it a thumbs up, comment, Canoe in the comments, and we will hopefully, as long as none of us die, see you next week.